Hey everyone, welcome to the Content Crash Podcast. I'm your host Dan Hartnack. With me, as always, Kino Eastman. Kino, what's going on?
Not much, man. Just beat Leave It Within, the first one.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Is
wasn't
it,
bad.
yeah, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I had to let it grow on me, but I don't understand what the big fuss was about. I'm surprised it did so poorly. Like, it's a really good horror game. It's better than most of the Resident Evils I played, and I know it sounds like blasphemy for some people, but it's also better written.
Yeah,
But
that's I've heard a lot about that. I've heard a lot about people, kind of slagging it off and giving it maybe some undeserved slack because of whatever reasons. But I heard, after however long it's been out now, years, it's become more favorable.
yeah, it just needs some time. I guess people didn't want the black bars for the cinema, the aspect ratio,
Hmm.
putting it on 60 frames from 30 frames on PC, and a few other tweaks. I guess that's all it really needed, but then people still didn't play it. So I feel kind of bad I let it collect dust on my shelf for so long. It's a good
Yeah,
game.
well, it's sold well enough to warrant a sequel, so which we're getting, next year or
Yeah.
sometime.
Oh,
So,
it's actually, I think isn't it this October or is
oh,
it
is it
next?
is it this October?
Should be.
I have no clue actually.
Should be this October.
Let's see, Evil Within 2 release, and oh wow, it's actually coming out in 2 weeks,
Yep.
October 13th. Awesome. Yeah, I gotta get on that because October's a couple days away, and I need horror.
Oh, you'll like it. You don't like a lot of weapons. You like starving for ammo. You'll like it.
Yeah.
You'll like it.
Awesome. Yeah, I just recently, or just the other day, picked up Ruiner,
Hmm.
a game I've been following for quite some time. Finally released, and I was just like, I gotta get it, and it is awesome. I love it, love it, love it. Um, like the perfect mix of Hotline Miami meets Hyperlight Drifter set in Blade Runner.
That's very magical sounding.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. The music, the sound, all the sounds, everything about it. I love it. I can't wait to just dive in for a few more hours tonight, and get there. But anyway, a couple things have been talked about this past week in the world of gaming, and I kind of wanted to focus on. There was an article released, or not really an article. It started off with a designer and programmer who went on Twitter to kind of voice some statements, or make some statements about why the industry, or why developers aren't more candid and open with their game development cycles. I thought it was just a really interesting topic to get into, and basically the underlying theme of it was that the gaming culture, the gamer culture, is so toxic that being candid in public is dangerous. Um, how do you feel about that statement?
Um, it carries weight for sure. Uh, I understand where they're coming from. Um, I think if more people develop the game, the the stigma would probably lessen because making a game is a lot harder than people think, and that's something that's been said for a long time. But it's really a lot harder than people think.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not an easy process, and some games we see people slave over for ages, and then it just flops anyways. Um, I can say different about publishers. I can go in about publishers, but I think developers kind of have it a little rough. Not to say they shouldn't voice their opinion when they can. I think some need to just say what they have to say anyways, despite what other people think. But I get it. Gamers have gotten a bit rougher around the edges as the
Oh
years
yeah,
have gone on.
yeah. Especially in the past few years,
Yeah,
we've had a lot of kind of happenings in the industry that have led to some questionable culture changes and some shady practices. Obviously, you said publishers are a bit different, but developers and developing developer studios have had it rough very recently, and unless you're someone huge like EA or Ubisoft, you can't really you really have to be in touch with your community. um, and it's there's so many different topics to break down within that statement. Gaming culture is toxic, to an extent, yes, and I don't know. It's hard dancing around this subject too, because I'm like, we know gamers can be terrible people sometimes. I'll say it.
yep, that's fine.
Yeah, sometimes you listeners are terrible people. No, no, but yeah, there are communities out there that drive a very toxic culture. They have a lot of gatekeeping, and it's not good. But the more I think about it as coming from a developer's perspective, if I was a developer, listening to my community, I want to find my core community and kind of not cater to them, but listen to them more, and all the other angles and people yelling at me, they'll go away in time. That's why, or that's where I get this whole. I don't really think, in my opinion, I don't think a developer should really be scared of doing what they want to do. You should never be scared to create art, which I believe games are a form of art.
Absolutely.
You should never be scared or intimidated creating something that is your own. But I know on the other side of it is you have to sell your game. You're going to spend years and years developing it for and the end is you want to make money off of it. Absolutely. So you do have to kind of toe some fine lines, but I don't think you should censor yourself if you're going down that route. Just reading through his statements and stuff, it's I don't know. It kind of hit me like I don't like that developers feel scared. I wish anybody could make any game that they want to, and then kind of let the consumers decide. Which is how it should be. If you make a bad game, you're gonna get bad press and you're gonna get no sales. If you make a good game, I don't think the content, to an extent, I don't think the content matters that much. If it's a solid game that people enjoy, that has good mechanics, solid gameplay, great sound design and things like that, I think it will do well, regardless of the subject matter, to an extent. Like obviously, you're not going to make a game about Hitler like being a good guy and sell it. It's just not going to happen. But take a game like Wolfenstein, how they incorporate Nazis and obviously make them out to be the bad guy and stuff like that. But they've gotten backlash on including that kind of imagery in their games. I believe they were forced to, I think, censor the swastika in their German release because that's like an outlawed symbol in Germany.
Yep.
Which that's just the country's law, but you still keep the imagery, still keep the iconism there, and get your message across. I don't I don't believe in censorship. Is what it really boils down to. I don't know. How do you feel about stuff like that and like censorship
Um,
due to community response?
I think I think that's a problem that's kind of never going to go away. And I guess saying the word problem is also kind of abstract because there's just in today's society, there's a lot of things that are running parallel with what we think in video games. And that sounds a little weird. Um, Especially free speech and this, that, and the third. I do think that people should always be allowed to kind of speak their mind or kind of put down what they think. I also think in some ways there's like an absolute well, saying absolute good's a little weird, but a good and evil that is kind of not necessarily instilled in us, but should be obvious. Um, I can't think of a redeeming quality of anything that's come out of the word Nazi. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember one, not one. And if I'm wrong, I'd like to hear it. But there's just some things that are uh, evil, and there's some things that can just stay out there, and people can just deal with it. So, for instance, there was some game. I wish I remembered the name. That would really help. Um, it's it's a MOBA, I believe. If I can find it. It's a MOBA that was done by Nexon recently, and a lot of people were just downvoted it because the art was changed
Mm-hmm.
from the original release. They toned down the women, they toned down all the looks and stuff like that. Um, and I looked through the entire thing, and I didn't see anything talking about the game. I only saw downvotes for the censorship, for the art. That's it. I didn't see any. I don't know how the game even is. I don't know if that's fair to the game, but people were very, very upset that they didn't get the original.
Huh.
If you want your TNA, I don't care where you get it. I don't care that it's there. I think it's impractical for someone to run around a battlefield in a bikini. That's just me.
Right.
But I don't care if it's in the game. I don't have to play the game. I don't have to consume the game, and I don't have to play that character. But if that's what you want, it's none of my business. So things like that seem to be driving home more and more often, and popping up in culture. And some of it's just kind of ridiculous. I think, well, like over here is like one of the only places that would do that. There's a lot of There's like like you said in Germany, there's women portrayed on TV in all kinds of ways. There's sexuality is not a big deal
Right.
for a lot of places in the world, but over here it is. So when it's censored for, they say kids to so kids can view. It's a big deal. It gets changed, and then people go nuts and downvote games. All of it seems congruent to how our culture is kind of moving on. That was more of a publisher thing, I know, but I think it has the same lines running through it.
Right. Yeah, it's very similar to the what was it? Was it Street Fighter 5 change that they made to one of the
Right,
characters?
Mika, yeah,
Yeah.
she used to during her first run, she used to smack her ass, and then do her special, and then that was during the beta. And then when the game came out, it zooms the camera up before that happens. You still hear it, but you don't see it. Um, I didn't care because it was during the beta, and they can change what they want. And they said they just didn't feel like it was something they just wanted to put in the game.
Right.
Uh, but on the other hand, you have a Chun-Li outfit coming out every 2 months where she's basically wearing nothing.
Right.
We just got a pack, and she's might as well be wearing nothing. So it's still there. When it comes on ESPN, whenever we have Evo, they've been telling this person last time it was Fudo. He's a Japanese player that plays Mika. he had to put on a particular outfit because her default outfit was too revealing.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and I'm wondering like other characters who basically this is a character named Laura where all her outfits are revealing. What happens if she makes top 8? What are you gonna do? Is it that bad? Should we then point out like how cheerleaders dress in America? Is that a problem too?
Yeah.
It's weird. Like all this stuff kind of correlates all the way down to I think what we were just talking about with developers and censorship. It's all kind of that's all kind of mashed together, and I think all kind of leads to the same place.
Yeah, and yeah, no, I'm staunchly against censorship. You know, like I said, make art and make it the way you want. And if people don't like it, they don't have to buy it. Nobody's forcing them to buy it. No one's forcing them to even look at it. But you know, some people have to get on their high horse and try to be morally superior. But yeah, that's more of another discussion. Anyway, so back to this guy's comments. The other side of it, as far as you know, there's the censorship part, and there's the certain aspects of certain games can be offensive to people. There's another part of the breakdown where developers are also scared to explain reasons why games are delayed, or why there's budget cuts, or why was it looking this way in your reveal trailer, and why is it not looking the same way at release time. And that's another as a developer, we don't want to tell you guys what's going on because we're just afraid that it might hurt sales in the end. It all comes back to sales, but so I would really love for developers to be more open as to why delays happen, why budget cuts happen, why scopes of the games change. Sometimes if it's a good thing, we'll hear about it. There's tomorrow, actually, or later tonight, Cuphead is releasing, and that was a game that it was a long time coming, and the delays came because they expanded the scope. Originally, it was supposed to be just a boss fight game, but then they expanded it to actually having platforming levels to get to lead up to those boss fights, and that took a lot of time. But they worked with Microsoft, and they were open about it, and they told everybody, hey, we're going to delay this game a little bit more because we just we're ramping up the scope. So it seems like if it's something good, they have no problem talking about it. But if it's something bad, everybody's kind of like, maybe we just should stay silent on this. But I feel, just be open with us. Just tell us what's going on. I read threads all the time where it's, this game got delayed, and the top comment is, that's it. It's crap. It's gonna be, that's this game's death knell. Not following anymore, all that stuff. But we have no insight as to what happened. So it's just like, okay. I don't know. Would you like more developers to kind of just be more communicative with everybody and just tell us what's going on?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it, I don't know if you agree, but I think Kickstarter kind of rears its head in this too. There's a lot of miscommunication when a product is revealed and then what a product is. And then there seems to be, for some developers, just a lot of quiet. I know we don't want to bring up Mighty Number 9 for the millionth time, but boy, is that a great example of what happens when you don't communicate and then deliver on what wasn't communicated in the first place.
Yeah,
I think Kickstarter definitely has a place in the whole developer toxic community versus developer problem. Because on one hand, people can be way too hard on what they want, but on the receiving not getting what you threw down money for is equally disheartening. especially if it changes from one thing to another.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if they tell us on really or on reveal, they give us the artwork and whatever and their goals, like in a Kickstarter, they give us the goals, what they want to reach, and then a month later, hey guys, because of this and this, we got to pull back a little. We're sorry, we can't hit what we promised in our initial scope release, but this is what we have to work with now. That'd be a lot more. It'd be a lot better for people to hear.
Right.
But now what you said with Kickstarter, that kind of brings up another point of with Kickstarter, some people they already committed the money to it,
That's true.
and so now you're going to tell them, we're dumbing down everything or we're scaling back on certain things, and like, wait a minute, I just dropped $100 for a special edition of this when it comes out.
Hmm.
I don't really know if I want to do that anymore, and because of the way Kickstarter is, I don't think you can get back your pledge. At least I'm not aware of.
I think it's up to them. I'm not sure. I believe it's up to them. I've never had something fall through for me, so
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I will have to look into that and get back to you. So yeah, it is hard for developers. I understand why they stay silent. I just I don't like them to stay silent because it just creates the toxicity by them staying silent. In certain ways, they're kind of contributing to that whole mentality of the toxic gamer. If you tell people, yes, they will be mad, but it'll, I think, help the healing process of some of those people a lot better than just staying silent and that's it.
yeah.
I mean, look at No Man's Sky. How they overpromised on everything, overpromised, released the game, and it was nowhere near what they said it was, and then they went completely silent for like months, and then like release certain patches. Apparently, the game is in a pretty good playable state now, and people are enjoying it.
I think it's really good now.
Yeah, I've heard very good things about it lately. But the problem was they stayed silent and they never communicated with anybody, and that kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And you if you stay silent, you lose the trust.
Mhm.
And I think for good or bad, you want to keep the trust as much as possible, because that in the end, that'll keep your game afloat, and that'll keep that'll sell some people just for being truthful. It's like, hey, or little indie studio releases a game, it's got mixed reviews, but hey, at least they were truthful with me. Maybe I'll throw them some money to check it out, instead of, well, they didn't sell me anything and now the game's crap, I'm just gonna move on. So yeah, it's hard being a developer. Yeah, that's why I didn't get into it yet. uh, yeah, and there's so much more we can unpack with this. I mean, and just gaming communities and developing communities, everything out there. It's a weird time for games right now, I feel,
Yeah.
especially with everybody yelling censorship. But that's another topic for another day. But yeah, that was game developers. Just be truthful, all right.
Information helps. I think
Yeah.
everyone likes information. Even if you tell us something bad, at least we have the bad information now.
Yeah,
Keep people updated. Keep people in the loop. Just let people down easy. Just talk.
yeah,
Be in the community. Say things. And if you get flack for it, you can't say there wasn't anything said. And
yeah.
at the same time, maybe some gamers as a whole, as a community, maybe we can just we can calm the hell down sometimes.
Oh,
Reel it
absolutely.
back. Maybe we can realize that Capcom didn't kill our mother. It didn't fridge our dad. We shouldn't wreak vengeance on whatever game developer did this. I'm gonna pay 19.99 for a game. And if you got there's people who throw in like 300 hours and still complain, you barely paid $20. There's a lot we could work on as a whole instead of being angry all the time. Constructive criticism is a thing. If you have a problem, you could simply tell them. If you made a game and someone came at you sideways all day for a small mistake and you told them sorry, they still came at you sideways, you'd be disappointed too. You'd be discouraged. You wouldn't want to make another game. You had a hard day. There's humans on the other end. You know, it's not hard to be that hospitable sometimes. You just chill.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It really isn't.
Calm down. It's all games. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's just everybody take a big breath now, and then let's just calm down and let's play some video games.
Please, Usa.
Yeah. So, just in other news, just wrapping up. Red Dead Redemption trailer number 2 came out, or the actual trailer for it. It looked awesome. I never played the first, and I never played Revolver, and then I never played Redemption because I never had a PS3. So, but I am excited for this. Hope it's been announced for Xbox One and PS4. No indication of PC yet. But we all know what happened with GTA 5, so hopefully we'll get a port of this as well. But if not, I'm probably going to pick it up for my PlayStation. What else did I miss? That was the big news of the day. I saw something that was kind of cool.
Oh, I know this is random, but the game I was talking about earlier was Hyper Universe, the MOBA.
Ah, okay. A few things came out. The Metroid Samus Returns has gotten phenomenal reviews.
Really?
As I said, I've been playing Ruiner. I'm going to probably be doing a review shortly, maybe next week. I'll have it out. It's such an awesome game. And then Cuphead comes out tonight, which I'm going to try and get a hold of if I have the funds. Yeah. So, yeah. There's Hob. That's the game.
I was bring that up. Yeah, Hobbs out, huh?
Yeah, that game just released, made by the creators of Torchlight, which was an awesome game. Really captured the Diablo-esque gameplay. Really well, I thought. Hobbs getting pretty good reviews. I'd like to pick it up sometime and tell you guys what it's all about. But that's all I have. You have anything you want to add, Kino?
I think I'm good. I think I got everything out of my system.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah, for the time being. Yeah. So yeah, as we gear up for October, all the spooky stuff's gonna happen soon. I'm gonna be doing some horror games and things like that. But yeah, October's my favorite month, and I'm ready to dive right in.
Sounds good.
All right, so everyone, thank you for checking us out. This is the Content Crash Podcast. I'm Dan Hartnack. With me was Kino Eastman.
Yes.
And we'll see you later.
For sure.